In Chapter 1085, the silhouettes of the 5 elders and Imu transformed into monstrous forms were revealed. While the monstrous forms of the 5 elders have been shown, and they have returned to Marie-Joie in disgrace, Imu's monstrous form has yet to be unveiled. To put it simply, I believe Imu's form is that of a dragon. Some of you may have noticed that there are 2 types of dragons in the One Piece world. In Japanese, dragons are called ryu, but the kanji used for each type is distinctly different. The One Piece magazine, published by Shueisha, details the usage of these kanji. The translation of the pages on dragons is already available on my Patreon page, and for 3 days after the video release, it's available for free. If you're interested, please check it out. In this video, I will analyze Imu's identity based on the content of the One Piece magazine. The dragon, as a creature, plays a crucial role in unraveling the mysteries of the One Piece world. On this Dawn Dusk channel, I create analysis and commentary videos based on official One Piece publications and the original Japanese text, offering insights that might be missed in translations. Recently, incorrect translation information has been presented as fact. So if you have any doubts, please feel free to ask me for a native perspective. I'll be happy to help with accurate interpretations. One Piece is rich with cultural references, so I also look forward to hearing your thoughts from your cultural and linguistic viewpoints. By sharing our knowledge, we can make this channel a comprehensive source of information. And just for fun, I might even show you my panties when we reach that level of knowledge sharing. Have you heard of the yin and yang and 5 elements philosophy? When the names of the 5 elders were revealed, this concept became widely known, so you've likely come across it at least once. This philosophy is deeply connected to the story of One Piece. The concept of yin-yang philosophy involves classifying all phenomena and elements of the universe into 2 categories: yang, positive, and yin, negative. The Great War that occurred during the Void Century is also understood to have been a clash between 2 opposing ideologies. On the other hand, the 5 elements philosophy classifies everything in the natural world into 5 elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Everything in the universe fits into one of these elements and interacts with each other. These elements correspond to the names of the 5 elders. Since the 5 elders are the highest authority figures on the surface of the One Piece world, this makes sense. Interestingly, when these elements are connected, they form a star-shaped diagram, which in Japan was traditionally used as a protective charm. This star, formed by connecting the 5 elements, is called gobosei in Japanese. Yes, it's likely that their collective name, gorosei, is derived from this concept. Now, let's look at the entity said to be at the center of this philosophy. The source of the universe at the center of the 5 elements philosophy is often referred to as Tai-Itsu or Tai-Kyoku, which means the great ultimate or supreme ultimate. It is the ultimate source of all existence and the fundamental principle underlying the interactions of the 5 elements. In other words, this Tai-Itsu, which underlies the 5 elements, corresponds to Imu, who stands above the 5 elders. Interestingly, Tai-Itsu is said to be the incarnation of the North Star. The North Star occupies a fixed position at the center of the sky, around which other stars appear to revolve. This central, stable position symbolizes Tai-Itsu as the ultimate source and center of the universe, from which all existence and order emanate. In this sense, Imu can be thought of as akin to the North Star. In Chinese cosmology, the emperor is often seen as the earthly representative of the universe's order, with the North Star functioning as its celestial counterpart. The emperor's palace was often aligned directly with the North Star, symbolizing the connection between earthly and celestial order. The North Star is located at the point where the Earth's rotational axis extends into space. This corresponds to the empty throne, with its design symbolizing the path of stars extending to the North Star. In the world of One Piece, there is a place called Pangaea Castle, considered the center of the world. If we regard Maria Joie as the center of this world, the top part aligns with the North Pole. In other words, the design of the spear on the empty throne appears to suggest that it extends from the North Pole toward the North Star. The current North Star is Polaris in the constellation Ursa Minor, but during the period when the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids, the North Star was Thuban, a third magnitude star in the constellation Draco. Due to the precession of the Earth's axis, the position of the North Star changes over time. Thus, during that era, Draco held the position of the North Star. Draco is written like this, which translates to heavenly dragon. This seems to indicate that Imu, symbolized by the North Star, is a celestial dragon. Furthermore, if we look at the illustration of the Draco constellation, the dragon's tongue is shaped like an arrow, mirroring the technique that Imu likely uses. This leads me to conclude that Imu's demon form is that of a dragon. As mentioned earlier, there are two types of dragons in the world of One Piece: winged dragons that inhabit Punk Hazard and long-bodied serpent-like dragons. Both types share the abilities of heat resistance and fire breathing, but their methods of flight differ. The winged dragon flies with its own wings, while the serpent-like dragon, such as Kaido and Momonosuke, flies by creating flame clouds. Interestingly, there are also two kanji characters used to represent dragon in One Piece. In Japanese, these characters have no significant difference in meaning. However, there is a tendency in their usage. This kanji is often used for winged dragons like those in Punk Hazard, while this one is used for the serpent-like dragons like Kaido and Momonosuke. The importance of the difference between these two kanji was also highlighted in the One Piece magazine. Let's read it together. Ryuma, who became a legend for slaying the dragon. However, the one currently revered as the Mio-O protecting Wano country is Kaido, the dragon. Over the span of 23 years, the position and image of the dragon have drastically changed from enemy to guardian. This transformation, marked not only by the different kanji but also by the changing societal views, suggests a political attempt to rewrite history by establishing this character Ryu. By the way, the translation of this One Piece magazine article is available to Patreon members. If you're interested, please visit my site. I believe an important theme in One Piece is hidden here. History can be rewritten through words. This means that the D-Clan, once enemies of the world government, became feared. Fruits that realize people's wishes were labeled as devil fruits. And those researching poneglyphs were branded as demons. This rewriting of history was done by the Celestial Dragons, the victors of the War of the Void Century. The same applies to dragons. According to the One Piece magazine, Wano country originally viewed dragons as enemies. This makes sense since the Kozuki clan's policy of isolation was to protect Wano from a great power, likely the world government. The leaders of the world government are the Celestial Dragons, and the kanji used in their name is the same. This suggests that the dragon, represented by this kanji, has become a symbol of the world government. In fact, in Monsters, the dragon that Ryuma slayed had wings. In that story, Cyrano planned to summon this dragon to steal treasures from the town. Cyrano is likely the prototype for Mihawk. Mihawk's surname is Dracul. The name Dracul is reminiscent of Dracula, which is derived from the Romanian word Dracul, meaning dragon or devil. This suggests that this type of dragon represents the true devil in the One Piece world. Therefore, I believe that Imu, the leader of the celestial dragons, transforms into a dragon with devilish horns and large wings. This means that the leader of the celestial dragons, who are supposed to be the gods of the current world, is actually a demon. In Chapter 1085, Imu is depicted transforming into a monster and consuming flames. The onomatopoeia bakun is used to describe eating something. This is also a characteristic of dragons in the One Piece world. Let's look at the explanation from the One Piece magazine. Inside the dragon's body, there is an organ similar to a flamethrower that is responsible for igniting and generating gas. This organ is filled with gas, and the dragon has a system to produce gas on its own. The drool that overflows from its mouth is flammable and has properties similar to oil. It appears that this drool is what enhances the dragon's firepower. Therefore, it makes sense that Imu was able to consume Sabo's flames if he is indeed a dragon with a body resistant to fire. On the other hand, the serpent-like dragon seems to be related to the Great Kingdom. In Elbaf, where Nika is worshipped, buildings often feature serpent-like designs. Before destroying the Island Eater, Dory said, "The only thing we cannot pierce is the blood-stained serpent." This has long been interpreted as a reference to the Red Line in Japan, a theory also mentioned in this video. However, this serpent Dory refers to might also indicate this serpent-like dragon. In fact, the heads of these serpent-like dragons are used in the designs of houses in Elbaf. Additionally, the image of a blood-stained dragon is featured on the figurehead of Shanks's ship, which seems to align with the beliefs and warriors of Elbaf. In addition, in Shandora, this enormous serpent was also an object of worship. Since they also worshipped the sun god, it seems that within the Great Kingdom's faction, both Nika and the serpent-like dragon were considered sacred. This scene particularly highlights that idea. Atop the blood-stained serpent stands Kalgara, dressed in attire resembling Nika's, with a prominently depicted sun in the background. Furthermore, the onomatopoeia when the modern sun god, trapped inside the serpent, opens its eyes from the inside is Nika. Additionally, the significance of serpents in Amazon Lily likely ties back to its connections with the Great Kingdom. I plan to create another video to delve into this topic further. Furthermore, a phrase Law frequently uses when mentioning D is, "D brings another storm." In Japanese folklore, dragons are creatures that cause tornadoes, and this serpent-like dragon is well known in this context. In fact, Kaido's signature move is Tatsumaki. In Japan, the word for tornado is Tatsumaki, which uses the kanji for dragon. The phenomenon of a whirlwind lifting seawater into the sky is seen as a dragon ascending to the heavens, hence the use of this kanji. It seems that on the side of the Great Kingdom, this type of dragon was considered a significant creature, and the D clan, who inherit the will of this dragon, are metaphorically said to bring storms. It is likely not a coincidence that the person destined to bring the world to its dawn, Momonosuke, can transform into this type of dragon. To summarize the discussion so far, we can observe that the winged dragon residing in Punk Hazard is a symbol of the world government, and the simpler kanji is used for this. On the other hand, the image associated with the forces of the Great Kingdom is the serpent-like dragon with a long body, which uses a more complex kanji. This trend suggests a potential future showdown between these two types of dragons. There are two interesting exceptions worth mentioning: Magellan and the Ryugu Kingdom. The senior guards at Impel Down are strangely dressed as cosplayers with devil wings and horns. Among them, some even have unusual fetishes. Albel enjoys torture, but the question remains, is it the act of torturing others that he finds enjoyable, or perhaps something else? Considering that Impel Down might have been built on a submerged continent and ancient scripts similar to those on poneglyphs are etched on its walls, it suggests that this prison might have once been property of the Great Kingdom. Given that the celestial dragons view the people with the initial D as devilish beings, it makes sense that the guards, who serve the world government, would don costumes resembling devils within a facility that was once their enemies. Additionally, Magellan's attack named Hydra is notable. The poison dragon he creates is a winged dragon, and the kanji used for this technique is the same as the one used for winged dragon or celestial dragon. You probably already know this, but in Greek mythology, the Hydra is a serpent-like water monster with multiple heads, famously killed by Hercules as one of his 12 labors. Despite this, the kanji used for Magellan's technique refers to a winged dragon. This also suggests that Magellan's attack is also influenced by the world government's manipulation of how dragons are perceived. Next, let's talk about the Ryugu Kingdom. This nation joined the world government 200 years ago. However, it also housed the poneglyphs that contained Joy Boy's apology letter and the road poneglyph. This suggests that, much like Impel Down, the Ryugu Kingdom was once aligned with the Great Kingdom's forces. The architecture of Ryugu Castle is distinctly modeled after the serpent-like dragon. Yet, the kanji used in the name of the castle is for the winged dragon. This discrepancy indicates a historical shift. Historically, both locations were part of the Great Kingdom's domain. Hence, they feature the serpent-like dragon. However, after joining the world government, the terminology was altered from this kanji to reflect their new allegiance. This represents a reverse phenomenon compared to what occurred in Wano, where the manipulation of terms served the world government's narrative. When most One Piece readers hear dragon, another significant figure comes to mind: Monkey D. Dragon. Despite being the leader of the Revolutionary Army with the goal of overthrowing the Celestial Dragons, his name is Dragon. And his ship and flag feature a dragon emblem. This is a major mystery, but I think the answer is quite simple. A dragon's weakness is another dragon. In this sense, the Tontada tribe and Brook could also be seen as natural enemies of Imu. Regarding the origin of Dragon's name, there is a theory I plan to explore in a separate video dedicated to Monkey D. Dragon. Why do you think Garp, who hates the Celestial Dragons, would name his son Dragon? There must be significant secrets still hidden between them. Since Dragon's name is typically written in katakana, it's unclear if the kanji used for him would be the same as that used for the Celestial Dragons or the dragon transformations of Momonosuke and Kaido. However, considering Dragon likely has wind abilities, he could be associated with the serpent-like dragon from Japanese folklore, which is known for creating tornadoes. Additionally, the dragon on the Revolutionary Army's ship, the Wind Grandma, resembles a serpent-like dragon more than a winged dragon. This suggests that Dragon might be aiming to transform the concept of the winged dragon into this serpent-like dragon, similar to the changes sought in Wano country. Another intriguing possibility regarding Dragon and Emu lies in the Revolutionary Army's flag. Initially, the flag featured a sword, and the current flag shows this sword piercing a dragon. When you turn this flag upside down, it resembles a crown and an eye, potentially hinting at Emu's true form. When Sabo reported seeing Emu in the room with the empty throne, Dragon didn't seem surprised by the existence of the world's top leader, Emu. Instead, he was more concerned about the presence of ancient weapons. This suggests that Dragon might have encountered Emu during his time as a Marine and has been waiting for the right moment to strike. So far, we have discussed the dragons of the world government, the serpent-like dragons associated with the ancient kingdom, and the dragon of the Revolutionary Army. I believe that dragons have another important role in uncovering the true nature of One Piece. Frankie explained the world's ocean currents by saying, "The ocean currents flow continuously around the world like a giant dragon." This implies that the dragon symbolizes the unification of the world. In Chapter 1122, the importance of knots is emphasized again. Untying a knot brings forth wind, hinting at D calling forth another storm. This suggests that by creating and untying a knot in the world's ocean currents, the world, which is divided into 4 seas, could become one again. In fact, there is a place where the world's ocean currents converge. Reverse Mountain. As evidence, there, a creature resembling a dragon is depicted. As mentioned earlier, in Japanese legends, dragons are creatures that can summon storms. When Luffy reaches Reverse Mountain again, he might use this ability to unite the world. Dawn Storm.